Have you noticed that moment? That subtle, almost invisible shift in the air between you. The moment when the fire in his eyes, the one that once burned so bright, turned into the steady, calm, almost indifferent flame of a household candle. When the chase, full of passion, excitement, and the desire to win you over, was replaced by a quiet, predictable coexistence. He stopped trying. He stopped surprising you. He stopped pursuing you. He no longer conquers your smile. He just assumes it will be there. He doesn't seek your attention. He's just used to it always being on him. And in this deafening silence, where the music of his efforts once played, the most terrifying question a woman asks herself is born. What did I do wrong? You start replaying everything in your head. Asterisk, did I become less interested? Did I gain? Wait, did I say the wrong thing? You begin to analyze, to dig within yourself, searching for a flaw, a crack, a reason why the magic vanished. And the world, as if on cue, throws hundreds of silly, shallow answers at you. Be a bitch, make him jealous, surprise him in bed, but all of this is a lie. These are band-aids on a wound that runs much deeper. Because the reason he stopped trying isn't that you did something wrong. It's that you did something you thought was absolutely right. You made the one fundamental mistake that women make, the one that glossy magazines don't talk about, but that the soul itself whispers of. You gave him IT, and IT isn't your body, not your care, not your money. IT is something far more valuable and far more dangerous in the wrong hands. And when you give it away, you are, without realizing it, signing the death warrant for his desire to pursue you. You extinguish his fire with your own boundless availability. Carl Jung once said that at the beginning of a relationship, a man doesn't fall in love with a woman. He falls in love with the projection of his anima, his inner idealized feminine image. He sees in her a mystery, a goddess, an uncharted territory that he must discover. His masculine essence, his instinct as a hunter, a conqueror, an explorer, all of it awakens and rushes toward her. He wants to figure her out, to understand her, to win her over. And it is in this very process of the chase, in these efforts, in this striving, that his passion lives. Now, think about it. What happens when that uncharted territory sends you all its maps, reveals all its treasures, and says, "Here I am. All of it, take me." The expedition is over. The quest is complete. The mystery that fueled his energy has dissolved. This is what IT is. IT is the premature and total surrender of your inner world. It's when, out of fear of losing him, out of immense love, or out of a good girl pattern learned in childhood, you decide to give him everything at once. You reveal all your wounds, all your fears, all your dreams. You make him the center of your universe. Your mood starts to depend on his phone call. Your plans are built around his schedule. You give up your hobbies to spend more time with him. You cease to be a separate, self-sufficient, mysterious universe that he was so eager to explore, and you become a convenient, predictable planet revolving in his orbit. You give him total, unrestricted access to your soul. And at that very moment, paradoxically, he begins to lose interest in it. Because a man, by his nature, does not value what comes to him without effort. He values the trophy he fought for. And you, in an attempt to prove your love, took your own trophy off its pedestal and laid it at his feet. And now you wonder why. He no longer looks at the pedestal with admiration and awe. It's not his fault, and it's not yours. It is the tragedy of the unconscious processes that govern us. He didn't want to stop trying. He simply can't. You deprived him of the fuel for his efforts, the mystery. He didn't want to devalue you. He simply cannot value something that has no boundaries, that is available 24/7. It doesn't require him to be better, stronger. more creative. You thought that by giving him your all, you would show him how much you need him, and this would strengthen your bond. But in reality, you showed him that your own life, your interests, your inner world, all of it is less valuable than him. And he, on an unconscious level, agreed. He stopped seeing you as a separate, whole person worthy of being won over, and started seeing you as a resource. A reliable, warm, convenient resource. And resources aren't won over. Resources are used. Perhaps it's painful to hear this right now. Perhaps something inside you is protesting. But that's what love is, giving yourself completely. But this is not love. This is enmeshment. It is dissolving. It is the abandonment of one's own self, as Jung would say. True, mature love is only possible between two whole separate universes that choose to be together, not between a star and its satellite. And if you feel that he has stopped trying, ask yourself, have you become a satellite? Have you given him it, your precious, unique, sovereign wholeness? If the answer is yes, do not despair, because what was given away can be taken back. And this journey of reclaiming yourself is the most exciting thing that can happen to a woman. And strangely enough, it is this very journey that can reignite his fire. But this time, on your terms, let's look deeper into the very essence of this dynamic. What happens to a man on an unconscious level when a woman makes this mistake, the mistake of total self-surrender? To understand this, you have to abandon the usual logic of he's a good guy or he's a bad guy. The psyche, especially the male psyche in the context of relationships, operates according to laws far from morality. It operates according to the laws of energy, instinct, and archetypes. Carl Jung spoke of the masculine principle, the animus, as a force of action, penetration, and structure. Masculine energy seeks a challenge. It needs a goal, a problem to solve, a fortress to take. This isn't primitive machismo. It's a fundamental principle. When a woman presents herself to him as a mystery, as something whole, self-sufficient, living by her own laws, she becomes this ideal challenge for him. His animus is activated. He wants to understand her structure, penetrate her world, unravel her secrets. He begins to try. These efforts, dates, gifts, talks until dawn, acts of service are all tools for exploring and conquering this new alluring territory. His energy flows toward her because there is tension. There is a boundary to overcome. Now, imagine that the woman, with the best of intentions, removes this boundary. She says, "You don't need to win me over. I'm already yours. You don't need to solve my mysteries. I'll tell you everything right now. You don't need to overcome obstacles. I'll remove them from your path myself." She is, in essence, castrating his animus. She is taking away his task. A mountaineer who dreamed of conquering Everest suddenly finds that the mountain has descended to him and laid itself at his feet. What would he feel? At first, perhaps relief, but then boredom, disappointment, and emptiness. His great mission has been canceled. A man stops trying not because he has fallen out of love. He stops trying because the object of his efforts has disappeared. He has already won, and he doesn't know what to do after the victory. The male psyche often gets lost in the state of having. It thrives in the state of achieving. When you give him everything at once, you switch him from achieving mode to having mode. And in this mode, his energy fades. He relaxes. He becomes passive. He looks at you as his property, beloved, valuable, but already explored and requiring no effort. Moreover, another, more subtle and destructive process occurs, related to what Jung called the shadow. The shadow is everything we do not accept in ourselves. For many men, their own passivity, insecurity, and dependence reside in their shadow. When a woman becomes completely available, when she starts solving all the problems, anticipating all his desires, and surrounding him with total care, she unconsciously takes away his opportunity to exercise his own strength and responsibility. She, without wanting to, activates his shadow. He becomes that passive, dependent being he is afraid of being, and he starts to get angry, not at her, at himself. But since realizing this is too painful, he projects this irritation onto her. Her total availability begins to suffocate him. Her all-consuming care feels like control. Her love feels like a duty. He can't put it into words, but he feels trapped in her perfection. And his only way to rebel, his only way to reclaim some autonomy, is through passive resistance. He stops doing what she expects of him. He stops trying. This is his unconscious, clumsy way of screaming, "Give me air. Give me space. Give me back the challenge. Let me be a man again." And it is here that the woman makes the second mistake, derived from the first. Seeing his passivity, she begins to try even harder. She thinks she hasn't given enough. She doubles, triples her care, her availability, her love. She tries to earn his attention again. But in doing so, she only tightens the noose. The more she tries, the more he pulls away. The more she gives, the less he values it. It is a cruel, relentless spiral leading into an abyss of disappointment and resentment. A woman who has given herself away completely becomes a mirror for the man's own weakness, which he does not want to see. And so, he turns away from this mirror. He is looking for a reflection of his strength, and for that, he needs mystery again. He needs a boundary again. He needs a woman who does not belong to him completely. A woman who belongs, first and foremost, to herself. Understand this correctly. He is not the villain. He is simply a man locked in the cage of his unconscious instincts. And you, out of love, handed him the key to this cage and locked him inside, thinking it was a home. And now he sits in this cozy home, yearning for the wild forests where he could be a hunter. He stopped trying because you took away the very possibility of the hunt. You turned him from a conqueror into a farmer who, every day, harvests the same predictable crop of your boundless love. And until you return your world to the status of a wild, uncharted forest, he will just sit on the porch, apathetically staring into the void. And what is happening to you during this time? What is your path in this story? It is agonizing. It is filled with a quiet, exhausting suffering that is almost impossible to explain to your friends or your mother, because on the surface, everything might look perfect. You have a man. He is there. He doesn't leave. But his presence feels like an absence. It is the phantom pain of the passion that once was dotted first. You don't pay attention to the initial signs. He forgot to call. He didn't notice your new haircut. He chose a night with friends over a night with you. You make excuses for him. He's tired. He's busy. He's stressed. Your psyche is protecting you from the awful truth. The dynamic has shifted. But then these signs become a pattern. You notice that you are the initiator of all your plans. You are the one who figures out how to spend the weekend. You are the one who finds interesting movies. You are the one who tries to ignite a spark. In the bedroom, you transform from a muse into an entertainer. You are working for this relationship while he is simply present in it, and then the earning stage begins. You remember what you were like when he was pursuing you. Fun, lighthearted, radiant. And you try to turn on that version of yourself. You joke even when you're sad. You look flawless even when you have no energy. You cook his favorite meals. Create the perfect cozy home. Become the most understanding, most convenient, most accommodating woman in the world. You turn your life into a service for him in the desperate hope that he will notice, appreciate, and start trying again. But The opposite happens. The more you do, the less he notices. Your efforts become the norm, the background, something taken for granted. You train him to see you as a source of comfort that requires no investment. You become functional, like a favorite couch. It's comfortable. It's always there, but no one serenades a couch or brings it flowers. At this stage, you begin to lose yourself. Your own desires, hobbies, friends, all of it fades into the background. You live in a state of waiting for his call, for his mood, for his approval. Your self-esteem, which was once your inner core, now completely depends on him. If he's in a good mood, you're happy. If he's cold, your world collapses. You fall into a brutal emotional dependency that you yourself created by handing him the keys to your inner state. Jung would call this losing connection with yourself. Your ego has completely merged with his figure, and without him, it doesn't feel alive. You stop being the author of your life and become a character in his. And this is felt. A man, even the most unobservant, senses this loss in you on a subtle, energetic level. He feels that you've become empty. You no longer have that inner fullness, that mystery, that separateness that drew him to you. You've become transparent, and it's not interesting to look through clear glass. And it is then that the darkest stage arrives. Resentment, a deep, all-consuming resentment. You look at him and think, I gave you everything. My youth, my energy, my soul. And you ... you start to reproach him. Silently at first, with a look, then with words. You present him with a bill for your own sacrifice, a sacrifice he never asked for. You demand gratitude for what you voluntarily placed on the altar of his comfort, and this is the point of no return for many couples. He doesn't understand your complaints. In his world, everything is fine. He has a comfortable, loving woman. What more could she want? He doesn't see your sacrifice. He only sees your reproaches. He starts to get defensive, to shut down, and the chasm between you becomes insurmountable. You wanted love, and you got a war. A war in which there can be no winners. Because you have both already lost. You lost the magic that once brought you together. And all of this is the result of a single mistake. A mistake born of love, but leading to its destruction. You gave him IT. You gave him full access to your soul before he proved he was worthy of being its guardian. You opened your fortress without making sure he came as an ally and not as a conqueror who, having gotten what he wanted, would leave it in ruins. This pain you feel now, this emptiness, he didn't create it. You created this space inside yourself by giving him what should have belonged only to you, your self-worth. But it is in this darkest point, in this abyss of despair, that the way out is hidden. Because only by losing yourself completely do you get the most powerful incentive to start searching. To search for and reclaim yourself, piece by piece. And so you're at the bottom. You are exhausted, resentful, and disappointed. You've tried everything. Being good, being convenient, being understanding, being passionate. Nothing works. He is just as passive, and you are just as unhappy. And in this silence, when you no longer have the strength to try, something important happens. You begin to hear another voice. Not the voice of fear. What if he leaves? Not the voice of the ego. I have to be perfect. You begin to hear the quiet, barely audible whisper of your own soul. And it asks, and where are you in all of this? Where are your desires? Where are your dreams that are not connected to him? Where is your joy that doesn't depend on his mood? Where is the life you had before him, the life that attracted him so much? And with a shock, you realize it's gone. You've dissolved. You've disappeared. And this realization is the first step toward awakening. It is as painful as tearing yourself out of a warm, but suffocating cocoon. But it is necessary. The journey of reclaiming yourself begins with one simple yet most difficult action: shifting your focus from him to yourself. This is not a game. This is not a manipulation to make him jealous. This is a deep, existential process of reclaiming your own center. You begin to take back the keys to your inner world that you so generously handed out. What does this look like in practice? You stop waiting for his call and go meet a friend you haven't seen in ages. You stop tailoring your weekends to his plans and sign up for a class you've always dreamed of, be it pottery, French, or boxing. You stop asking him, "What should we do tonight?" and say, "Honey, tonight I'm going to the theater, alone, because I need this." At first, it will be scary. Your dependent part will scream. He'll be offended. He'll leave. He'll think I don't need him. Yes, he might be offended. Yes, he might be confused. Because you are disrupting the familiar, comfortable order of things. The couch suddenly got up and left the room. It causes discomfort. But it is precisely this discomfort that is the beginning of change. When you start filling your life with your own meanings, magic happens. First, you stop being empty. Energy, substance, and life reappear within you. You come back from your pottery class with sparkling eyes and a funny story. You discuss a book with your friend, not his latest silence. What Jung called inner fullness returns to you. You become interesting. First and foremost, to yourself. Second, you create distance. Not physical, but energetic distance. You are no longer available 24/7. You have your own life, your own secrets, your own space where he doesn't have automatic access. You once again become that uncharted territory. He can no longer just reach out and take you. He needs to ask for permission again, to earn it, to intrigue you. You re-establish the very boundary that you yourself destroyed. And it is here that his unconscious receives a powerful signal: the threat of loss. He sees that you can be happy without him, that his presence is not the only source of your joy, that you are whole. And his hunter's instinct, which has been dormant for so long, begins to awaken. He looks at you and sees not the familiar good girl, but a new, unknown, alluring woman. Asterisk, who is she? What is she thinking? Why is she smiling so mysteriously? His animus is reactivated. He wants to figure you out again, to conquer you, to win you over. He starts to try. But there is a key difference. Before, he tried in order to possess you. Now, he will try in order to be worthy of being by your side. This is a completely different level of a relationship. It is the transition from a childish game of "I want it, I get it," to a mature partnership of two strong, self-sufficient individuals. This path is not quick. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you'll want to give it all up and go back to being convenient. But every time you choose yourself, your interest, your desire, you will be laying another brick in the foundation of your new, whole personality. You will be taking back your power. And you know what's most amazing? It may happen that, having reclaimed yourself, you will look at him with new eyes and realize that you no longer need him. That the man who could only be with the convenient, you cannot be with the real you. And that, too, will be your victory. Because the most important love of your life is the love for yourself. And a woman who has found this love will never, again, settle for a relationship in which she is not valued. So if he has stopped trying, don't blame him. Don't blame yourself. Be grateful for this situation. It is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is an invitation from your soul to embark on the most important journey, the journey home to yourself. Start it today. Close this page, turn off your phone, and ask yourself, what do I want right now? For myself. And do it. and you will see how the world around you begins to change. Because the world is just a mirror, and when a queen is reflected in the mirror, it is impossible to treat her like a servant. And so you stand on the threshold of this new reality. You are not the same person you were yesterday. You have tasted your own power, your own autonomy. You have understood that the mistake was not in the love, but in its form. You loved from a place of lack, of fear, of a desire to fill a void. Now, you are learning to love from a place of abundance, from fullness, from wholeness. What happens next? Your transformation does not go unnoticed. The energy of a woman who reclaims her center changes everything around her. This isn't mysticism. It's the physics of the soul. When you stop broadcasting the signal, "I am a resource, use me," into the world stops sending you consumers. Your man is faced with a choice, one he makes on an unconscious level. He has two paths. The first path is growth. Seeing your transformation, feeling your new strength and distance, he may be frightened, but this fear will awaken the best in him. He will realize that he risks losing not just a convenient partner, but an incredible woman, and he will begin to change himself. He will begin to grow to meet you at your level. He will start trying again, but not to possess you, but to be worthy of you. He will start asking not, "Where's dinner?" but "What are you dreaming about?" He will begin to see you not as a function, but as a person. This is the ideal scenario, which turns a fading relationship into a deep, mature union of two equal partners. It is possible if the man has an inner core and the potential for development. But there is a second path, the path of resistance. If your man is internally weak, if his self-esteem was propped up only by your dependence on him, your strength will be unbearable for him. It will highlight all his fears and insecurities. He will not be able and will not want to grow. Instead, he will try to pull you back into your former, convenient state. He will start to manipulate. He will accuse you of selfishness. You only think about yourself. He will appeal to your sense of guilt. "I'm so miserable, and you're going out." To have fun. He might even threaten to break up. His goal is one and the same, to break your will and force you to become his predictable, obedient satellite once again. And this is your ultimate test. If you give in, if you get scared, and return to your good girl cage, it will all start over. But it will be even worse, because now you know what freedom tastes like, and life in captivity will be twice as painful. But if you stand your ground, if you calmly say, "Yes, I think about myself, because no one else will. Yes, I'm going to have fun, because I deserve joy. Your happiness is your responsibility, and mine is mine," you will pass this test. And most likely, such a relationship will end. And it will not be a tragedy, but a liberation. You will free yourself from a person who can only love the weak version of you. You will make space for someone who can love you in your full, radiant strength. A woman who has reclaimed herself becomes dangerous to the system of superficial relationships. She no longer agrees to compromises with her soul. She would rather be alone than with someone who makes her feel lonely. And this is not pride. This is what Jung called the process of individuation, becoming oneself, authentic, and undivided. Such a woman radiates a completely different energy. The energy of self-worth. Self-worth is not what you say about yourself. It's what you do. It's the no said to disrespect. It's the evening spent in silence with a book instead of at a meaningless gathering. It's choosing your interests even if someone doesn't like them. It's the ability to enjoy your own company. When you are filled with this energy, you become a magnet. But a magnet for a different type of man. Not for those looking for a convenient mommy or a servant, but for those looking for an equal. For those who are whole individuals themselves and are not looking for a half to fill a whole. but for another universe to create new galaxies with dot. So a woman's number one mistake is not a sentence. It's a diagnosis, and it is curable. A medicine is radical self-love. Stop asking, what can I do to make him value me? Start asking, what can I do to make me value myself? Stop looking for ways to keep him. Start creating a life that you yourself don't want to escape from. Remember, he didn't stop trying because you are bad. He stopped trying because you stopped. Being the most important value to yourself. Reclaim that status. Make yourself your main project, your main love, your main priority. Give yourself all the attention, all the tenderness, all the energy that you so generously gave to him. And you will see a miracle. You will either get back a man who will look at you with adoration, or you will gain something much greater yourself. And a woman who has found herself is never truly alone. She is always in the best company. If this message resonated in your soul, if you recognized yourself, your pain, and your hope in it, do not let this knowledge fade. This is not just a video. It is a seed that can grow within you and completely change your life. Save it not for him, but for yourself. As a reminder of your strength, share this video with a woman who you feel needs to hear this. A sister, a friend, a colleague. Perhaps these words will be the very whisper of the soul that will lead her out of the darkness. Leave one word in the comments, value, so that I can see you've understood the main point, so that other women reading the comments can see how many of us there are those who choose ourselves. This is our silent but powerful manifesto. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Here, we don't talk about how to be convenient. Here, we talk about how to be real. Here, we reclaim our truth, our power, and our wholeness, step by step, video by video, because the biggest mistake a woman can make is to forget that she is the prize worth fighting for, first and foremost by herself.